بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبع هداه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. This is going to be our first class in covering the essential rules of Tajweed. This course will cover all the basics that you might need to know in order to recite the Holy Quran properly. And inshallah, today we will only focus on the basics of reading the Arabic language correctly, because with reading the Arabic language the right way, you can surely be able to read with Tajweed without any problems. So learning the basics is essential, and this is what we're going to cover inshallah today in our lesson. Our lesson today will cover the basics of reading Arabic in general, including reading the letters and also reading the vowels, the fatha, the kasra, the dhamma. You might call it in a different way in your country. However, it would actually be uh, maybe similar in the names, but just the same thing anyway. Reading fatha, kasra, dhamma, sukun, shaddah, and all of this. After we finish reading the vowels and everything, we are going to move to talking about the heavy and the light letters in the Arabic language, the way this makes the reading different. This is also something else we are going to cover today and talk about in much more detail, inshallah. And let's get started. I will let you, both of you, by the way, and everybody who can join us, I will let you read by yourself and read from Mus'haf, so you can also practice with me everything. It's not going to be just basically listening to rules. You will actually be reading yourself to try to make sure you are applying everything we are talking about today. And let's get started. First thing we will start about, as we said, is talking about the rules of reading, which will include the fatha, the kasra, the dhamma, sukun, shadda, and also the mad letters. Let's get started. The book that we will be reading from today, inshallah, I will also share it with you so you can study yourself from there. If you had any questions, I think you can unmute yourself. And also you have the chat. If you had any questions while we are studying, you can ask me through the chat there. Okay? Please confirm if everything is working properly and you can see my screen now. Can you confirm through the chat? Thank you so much. 1 second. Okay. So the short vowels or the harakat. It might have different names in your area, but they're gonna be at the end of the day the same thing. We have fatha and kasra and dhamma. These are the three vowels that we can see on the screen here. You can see first one here is the fatha, which is a small dash can be on the top of the letter. After this, we have kasra on the bottom of the letter. And at the end over here, we can see the dhamma, which is something that looks like a small wow, which can be on the top of the letter. How can we read a letter with fatha? Fatha is pronounced by separating the two jaws and opening the mouth. To give an example for this, we have the letter like letter ba. When we read it with fatha, we simply open both both the upper jaw and the bottom jaw to say ba, which is super easy anyway. After this, we have kasra. What is kasra? Basically, the dash can be on the top, the bottom of the letter. So fatha is on the top, kasra on the bottom. How can we read kasra? We basically make, let's go down there. We use the bottom jaw, we drop the lower jaw to say the letter with kasra. The first letter we had was ba, this time we have b. What I'm doing here is using the lower jaw and make it go down to make that E sound. B. I say B, T, C, he, and so on. After this, we have the sound of dhamma or the vowel dhamma. How do I say dhamma? Dhamma is pronounced by rounding the two lips completely without letting them come into a complete contact. How can we do this? This is basically having the sound like circling the two lips, both of them in a way, make them in a form of a circle, and that makes the sound of the letter kind of an oo sound, like boo, two, two, ju. We already know all of this, and I assume it's super easy, isn't it? Can you please confirm? With the chat with me, I have Ziad and Sirajuddin. Is everything okay so far? Okay, Alhamdulillah. All right, let's see what we have next. Second. All right, so what we have here is sukun, the sound of sukun, which is something that looks like a half incomplete circle on the top of the letter. Here we have it right here. We can see here on the top of Hamza, there's a half circle, non-complete circle. We have it right here. We have it on the top of letter Ba. We have it everywhere. How do we read a letter with sukun? Basically, the letter with sukun is a non-vowel sound. Like we do in English, sometimes at the end of words, we have the no sound. We don't make any additional vowel sound. So that's basically the same thing in Arabic. The non-vowel form of the letter is reading it with sukun. So to give an example, we have here da, dal with fatha, and then ba with sukun. How do we read this? We say daba, daba. What we do is simply we don't complete to make daba, dabi, or dabu, just daba. Same thing with that here. We say tat, rat, tat, and so on. Okay, so that was sukun. Let's also complete with talking about the shaddah and of course the mad letters. Let's use the whiteboard here this time to talk about this, inshallah. Give me one moment. Okay, so al-mad, or what we call as the lengthening or the stretching of the sound of the letter, is using one of three letters in a special way. What are these three letters? We have alif, we have waw, at the end we have ya. How can we use these letters? What we do is we make the sound of the vowel that we have, we make it longer for one additional second. We make it one additional second longer than it should be. So if we have ba with fatha, followed by this alif, we will stretch it one more second. We will stretch the vowel sound here one more second. So we are going to say ba. So ba with fatha only was ba, ba with fatha, and mad alif, ba. So the meaning of the word al-mad, it refers to the stretching of the sound of the letter one more additional second. Ba becomes ba. Another example. Letter ta with fatha, when it is followed by an alif, it becomes ta. So ta, ta. Same thing we do with waw and ya. Waw, it has to be before, or like it has to be after a letter with dhamma vowel. So if I have ba with dhamma followed by waw, that makes me stretch the sound of letter ba, so it becomes boo. Same thing with ya. I have to have a letter with kasra before it, like ba with kasra, and then ya. So it becomes b, b, by stretching the sound of the kasra here. So this is the way the three mad letters they work. Do you have any questions about any of this? Ziyad and Sirajuddin. Can you respond in the chat, please? Do you have any questions so far? So I assume then there isn't. Let's talk about quickly about ash-shadda then. What is ash-shadda? Basically, when we have the sound of the letter, like any letter in Arabic, we can have the double two sounds at the same time. How this is going to be like, we're gonna have the letter in a doubled form. Like if we have letter ba again, we're gonna have it in a doubled form. The first form is going to be letter ba with sukun. The second form is going to be letter ba with any other vowel, like fatha, kasra, dhamma, or any of this. What does that makes in a difference? This is gonna be letter ba with shadda. Shadda basically means gonna be this small scene on the top of the letter. This is representing the two sounds combined together. So having ba with sukun and having ba with fatha combined together in their sound, that makes letter ba with shadda. Same thing for any letter. It can be with fatha, can be with kasra, can also be with dhamma. How this is gonna be like in any other letter, if we have ta with shadda and kasra, this is going to be two ta letters. First one is ta with sukun. Second one is ta with kasra. Same thing if we have letter like letter jim with shadda and dhamma. So this is gonna be two jim letters. First one is a jim with sukun. Second one is going to be a jim with dhamma. Now let's get to another point of how can we read a letter with shadda the right way. Most of us, what most people do, which is not right, of course, is only reading the sound of the vowel that we have. If it's a jim with shadda and dhamma, they only read the dhamma with the jim. If it's a ta with kasra and shadda, they only read the kasra. This is something we would want to avoid, and we will have to make the sound of the letter that we have to make the form of the sukun first, and then the kasra. To give an example, let's say ba, and then let's add jim with shadda and dhamma to it. So this is going to be like ba, and then jim with sukun, and then jim with dhamma. This will be bajju, bajju, bajju. So we cannot say baju only, ba and jim with dhamma. We have to make the sound of jim with sukun first, bajja, and then the dhamma one, ju. We combine all of this together, that makes it bajju, bajju. Let's apply this same thing to letter ta with kasra. Let's say da, dal with fatha, and ta with shadda and kasra. That means we are going to say that, that's the ta with sukun, that, and after this we have the kasra form. So this will make it that t, that t. That's how it works. Let's apply same thing to ba with shadda and fatha. Ba with shadda and fatha. And let's add before it hamza with fatha, just for the sake of giving an example. This is going to be ab, aba, aba. So that's the sukun form, and then the fatha form. It will be abba, abba. That's after combining the two sounds together of shadda. The first one that has sukun on it, and the other one which is a vowel sound, which can either be fatha or kasra or dhamma. That covers everything so far for the rules of reading. So what we have talked about so far, we talked about how we can read the letter with fatha, the letter with kasra, the letter with dhamma, how we can also read the sukun sound. We did also talk about the med forms, which is reading with the stretching the vowel sound. We did also at the end talk about how can we read the letter when it has shaddah on it. Okay, so does anybody have any questions so far? Please let me know if you have any. You can respond in the chat. All clear. Okay, so good. Let's continue with a new thing, which is talking about the heavy and the light letters in Arabic. In other words, what we call also as the sound of like التفخيم والترقيق, which is making the sound of letter heavy and making the sound of letter light. Do you have any idea? Do you have any previous idea about what this is about? Does anybody of you knows about what that means? All right. So let's get into talking about this, inshallah. And this is going to be the first thing we study so far in Tajweed, in our Tajweed course. So we are talking only about the basics of reading. Right now, we will get into the practical part of Tajweed, which is understanding what is the heavy, what do I mean by the heavy and the light letters. Heavy and light letters. Okay. In Arabic, when we speak, we have two sounds for each letter. That depends on the way we are pronouncing the letter itself, the way we make movement and we make changes to our mouth when we speak. This makes a big difference to the way we pronounce the letter that we have. Most people, they confuse the heavy letters with the light letters, which make the sound of the letters. For some of the letters, it makes their sound weird. And of course, when it comes to the Tajweed side, it will be incorrect from from a Tajweed perspective. How can we avoid this? We have to understand what do we mean by a heavy letter and what do we mean by a light letter. When we speak, we make special movements in our tongue, like we make our tongue move in certain ways so we can pronounce each letter we have. Beside that movement that we make, there's a part of our tongue, which is actually the back part of our tongue. When we raise this part to the top of our mouth, when we make it touch the roof of our mouth and the inside, that makes the sound of the letter change. Let's give an example of how this makes a difference. If I have a letter like letter, let's say ba, letter ba with fatha. Saying ba with fatha, this is the normal way of saying ba, which is keeping the back part of our tongue in its normal area. And this makes the sound of this letter a light letter because I'm making no changes to the back part of my tongue. It is in its normal position. So no heavy sound is being made. What if I try to do so? That will make the sound of letter ba incorrect, which will make it sound like ba. When you listen to this, ba, that's the correct way. Ba is actually the wrong way, which is making ba heavy, which is not correct. So each letter in Arabic, we have kind of a distinguish, like we have to distinguish between whether this letter is heavy or whether this letter is light, so we can understand what is the right way of reading each letter. How can we easily understand this? We have certain group of letters that we have to know that represents the heavy letters in Arabic, and those are 7. We have ta, we have sad, we have dad, and then ghain, we have also ta, we have qaf, and dha. How many are these letters? They are 7. qa, صاد, ضاد, غين, طاء, قاف, and ظا. Are these letters heavy or light? They are heavy. That means the way we pronounce these letters should be by making the back part of our tongue raised to the top of our mouth to make it touch the roof of our mouth, and that makes the sound of the letter that we are saying a heavy sound. To give an example, basically letter like letter kha has to be kha, fi, hu. I cannot make it sound weak or light, so I cannot say kha, hi, hu. That would sound weird. And of course, when it comes to tajweed, that will not be correct. So it has to be kha, fi, hu. You can try this yourself while you are listening to me. You can try pronouncing each one of these letters like I'm doing it and see the difference yourself, how this makes a difference. Let's try the same thing with sod. Let's make it heavy. Let's fill our mouth with air so its sound can be heavy as it should be. Saw, si, su. I cannot say sa, si, su. That's very weak. That's not right. It has to be saw, si, su. I hope you get it. Let's try the same thing with dod. Has to be da, di, do. So if I said da, di, do, that's not right. That is a light sound. So the correct way of saying dod is making it heavy. Same thing for ghain. It has to be gha, ghi, ghu. Ta, same thing. Ta, ti, tu. Same thing with qaf and dha. Qa, qi, qu. Last one. Dha, dhi, dhu. That's how I say each one of these letters. So again, the heavy letters in our Arabic language, they are 7. qa, صاد, ضاد, غين, ta, qaf, and dha. How about the rest of the letters? They are actually light. They have a weak sound. All of them, yes, all of them are light except 2 letters, which we will discuss, inshallah, in much more detail. They are ra and lam. What happens with ra and lam? What happens is we have special rules for them for pronouncing them while we are reading. Because sometimes we should make them light, sometimes we also should make their sound heavy. We will talk about this in much more detail in the future, inshallah. But other than that, other than these letters, all the letters are light. Like what? Let's give examples. Like letter ta. So it has to be ta, ti, tu. I cannot say ta, ti, tu. I cannot make it heavy. That will not be right. Like letter ba also. Ba, as we said before, it is a light letter. We should say ba, bi, bu, making it sound weak and light. How about another letter? Letter ain. Has to be a, ain, o. You can try this yourself. You can repeat this after me yourself so you can see how it works. Another letter to give an example for. Letter dal. Dal is a light letter. Has to be da, di, do. Weak and light sound. Another letter, letter sin. Has to be ta, ti, tu. Can I make it sa, fi, tu? No, please don't. That will not be correct. How about another letter to give an example? Letter kaf has to be ka, ki, ku. Okay, that makes it different from the heavy letter qaf. How do I say qaf? I say qa, fi, ku. How about kaf? Ka, ki, ku. And that makes a really big difference between these 2 letters. So we can have in Arabic 2 letters with very close sounds, but they are not similar. No letter in Arabic is similar to the other. All of them are different. If they don't have a big difference, but at least they have a difference. One of the main differences we can simply see here by learning about the heavy and the light letters is by practicing the letters, the heavy and light ones, and by understanding the heavy letters, which we have qa, sad, dad, ghain, ta, qaf, and dha. So this group of letters is representing for us all the heavy letters that we have in Arabic. Okay, so that basically, let's recap quickly what we have in this lesson. So we could learn in this lesson what is a heavy letter, what is a light letter. We said a heavy letter, the sound of the letter, I make it heavy. I fill my mouth with air, so its sound would become heavy and strong. What is a light letter? The letter that I make it to sound weak and I don't fill my mouth with air. I make my tongue in its normal position. I make no changes to the position of my tongue while I am saying the light letter. So that is what is a heavy letter. That was what is a light letter. We talked about which letters in Arabic we have them heavy. We said that we have only 7 letters in Arabic, which should always be heavy. We have qa, sad, dad, ghain, ta, qaf, and dha. We also have uh, all the other letters in the Arabic language are light. They must be light, including the ones we mentioned here, like ta and ba and ain. And we said there's exception for 2 letters. These are ra and lam. These 2 letters, ra and lam. Sometimes they can be light, sometimes they can be heavy. We have special rules for them, which we will talk about in detail, inshallah, in one of our future lessons. I have Ziad and Sirajuddin. Do you have any questions about what we discussed so far? Before we continue to some reading practice, do you have any questions? I'll be waiting for your response. How about Ziad? Do you have any questions? Can you respond in the chat, please? Ziad? Okay. All right. Inshallah, our next lesson is going to be on Tuesday, inshallah. Let's do some reading practice. Um, if you still have some more time, like for 5 minutes, maybe, inshallah, for today, so we can apply the things that we did study today. Let's read one of the surahs in Juz Amma. Second. Okay. All right, the surah that we will be practicing, inshallah, is going to be Surah Al-Fil. You will practice the correct way of reading it while observing the letters that we have there, which are heavy, and the letters that we have there, which are light. I'm going to read the surah first, and I will let, inshallah, Sirajuddin, I will let you, inshallah, read it with me here right now. I'll read first. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. Right, Ustad Ziad, can you please unmute the microphone and recite with me? I'll let you just recite the surah and we will talk a little bit about a few things that we talked about today, inshallah.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can start now with reciting Surah Al-Fil, inshallah.
Yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tazlil. Wa arsala alayhim tay tayran ababil. Tarbihim bihijaratin min sijil. Wajalahum kay
فَجَعَلَهُمْ
wajalahum
we
kaisfin
have
ya
فَجَعَلَهُمْ
faja'alahum kasafin
yes مأكول.
ma'kul. Yes, sir.
Inshallah, very good. Perfect
Yes,
reading.
sir. Yes, sir.
Barakallahu feek. Okay,
I will practice this, sir. And inshallah, sir, if you the first lecture what you gave about Dhamma and the those vowels, where can I get it, sir? This one.
I'll send it to you, inshallah. Send it to you
Okay.
in the group that we made. I'll send everything.
Yes,
Inshallah,
sir.
we will be looking also for some more people to join us so we can
Yeah.
have some more practicing with more people, inshallah.
Yeah,
So let's
because I,
quickly,
yes, sir.
go ahead.
Yeah. So, next Tuesday, I will try to gather some our Muslim brothers so that they
Mhm.
can join us, sir, together, So
Inshallah.
this will all refine our, we call it talaffuz, the how we pronounce it, sir. That will improve like this. Yeah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, sir. Yeah.
Okay, quickly, let's discuss the things we mentioned today. So we talked
Yeah.
about all the letters are light in the Arabic language, except
Yeah.
seven. These seven letters are. Do you remember any of them?
It's, sir, I remember one is Ghain and
Ghain,
Za,
Ghain,
Ta, and
Dha,
Ha, yeah, and
Ha,
Kha, yeah,
Ha.
and
Okay.
yes,
Okay, and there's also Qaf.
Ta, yeah, yes,
We have also Sad,
yeah, okay,
Sad. We have also Dad, letter Dad.
Ta,
Okay,
okay,
let's see if we have any of them here so we can understand and know that these letters are heavy. So we
okay,
have, let me see. Okay, so let's look over here. The first uh, ayah, we have Sad over here. That is one of the heavy letters. What else
yes.
do we have? Do we have any else?
Oh, I'm checking, sir, 1 second. We
Okay,
have
so
Ta,
yes, we have Sad here. We also
Ta,
have
yeah,
Dad in the second
yes,
ayah.
yeah,
Do we have Ta in the first ayah? I don't think we have any. So it's only Sad in the
yes,
first ayah, which is heavy. So
yes,
when we read a word like this, it has to be ashabi by making the sound of Tad a heavy
yeah,
sound. The second ayah, alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. All the letters here are also light, except letter Dad. Letter Dad.
yeah,
So we say tadlil. Can you try to say it, please?
Tazlil,
Okay, so
Tazlil.
tadlil, it's da. Dad sound is different from va. We have to
Ah,
make our tongue not touching our two front teeth to
okay,
avoid making it sound like 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 the. We have da, we have dha. Which one we have here? We have da. So
No.
tadlil.
Tadlil.
Perfect.
Tadlil. Like this. Yeah. Okay.
MashaAllah. Ahsant. Move on.
Yes.
وأرسل عليهم.
وأر وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل.
Okay, letter ta.
طيرا. Ta. Yes.
Ta. We make it heavy. It's not ta, like we don't make it weak, we don't make it light. We have to avoid it. We have to make ta.
Ta.
طيرا
Right.
أبابيل.
أبابيل. Right.
Okay, perfect. Let's
ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كيس how do you say this one
كعصف.
كاسفين كاسفين معقول.
Yes, we don't have any heavy letters in the fourth ayah, like
Yes, sir.
ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل
Yeah,
فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. Only letter صاد is heavy here, so we say
correct.
كعصف. We
As,
don't
yes.
say we have to avoid like saying كعصف. That makes it light. It should be
Uh-huh.
كعصف
Okay.
مأكول. كعصف مأكول. Okay.
كاسمكم. Yeah, okay.
Yes, and when it comes to letter like a word like ma'kul, we have to
Yeah.
avoid making the ka heavy because it's a light letter.
Okay, okay.
Ma'kul, we don't
Ma.
say ma'ku. Ku is heavy. Ku,
Yeah.
that's a heavy. That is like letter qaf.
Okay.
Okay, qaf is heavy. So it should be
Yes.
ma'kul. Can you try it, please?
Ma'kul.
That was excellent. Very good.
Okay.
All right, so let's stop here so far. I'll send you, inshallah, the materials and the things that we did read from today, inshallah, so you can take a look, like you can take a look yourself at it.
Inshallah,
And
sir.
we're gonna stop here.